Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unboxed. My name is Harsha Rao, and I'm the host for today. Um, and Welcome to our friends, our colleagues, students, and everyone in the audience as well. Okay, so today we're going to be going through our first unbox of 2021. Before we start on today's session, we're going to be covering a little bit about what Unboxed is and what we've achieved so far. Unboxed is a collaborative think tank focusing on creativity, technology, and design. We aim to start the conversation by involving high caliber speakers from various different industries such as design, visual effects, as well as other creative industries as well. Our journey so far has been very interesting. We started off back in 2018, where we had our first talk on creative thinking. We then moved on to advertising 4.0. We also talked about moving images and semiotics. We also looked at opportunities in real time, unboxed with the power of observation, as well as protecting ideas and designing the future. So, as you can see, we have a lot of different types of topics that have been covered so far. And we plan to keep this going. And 2021 is a very exciting year for Unbox, as we plan to do a lot more things this year as well. For 2021, some of the things that are in store would be webinars. As you can see today, we're having our first webinar. We will also be conducting Unbox talk shows in the future, as well as Unbox forums. Before we start on today's topic, I'm just going to introduce our speaker for today, which is Mr. Kenny Khoo from Pixelpost. He'll be going through the behind the scenes of his latest project. And without further ado, I think we can start the show.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi,
Okay,
morning, Kenny.
hi, Arshan. Thank you for the introduction.
You're most welcome.
I'm actually quite happy to be here to actually share my experience with everyone. Was approached by Edwin, I think, about a month ago, and he was asking me whether, hey, Kenny, I saw the video that you posted on Facebook, and it looks kind of interesting, and he would like to know more about how I did it and stuff like that. It was actually a project which I did it for fun together with my forum mates. I'm in an organization called EO Malaysia, Entrepreneurs Organization, and we have sometimes we have like challenges to actually produce video, and we just share it among each other lah. So I'm actually very happy to be here to share my experience. Yep. Okay, let me just share with you some of these the breakdowns that what do you call that I've done up for this presentation. But before I do that, I would like to share a little bit about myself. Usually I would like to start with my family, because family is key for me personally. Without family, I won't be where I am today. This is my family. So the person on the right is my dad, my late dad, which passed away about 2 years ago. So he's my inspiration when it comes to what I am today lah. The one on the right, my mom. I have two kids, one girl and one boy. Her name is Kaylee. The girl is Kaylee. My son's name is Jaden, and my wife is June. So she's my guiding light as well in terms of my career and also my my personal life. And the lady on the left with the cat shirt is my sister. All right. And a short history about myself. I love art, especially drawing. So I actually grew up drawing a lot when I was young. My dad actually take me to a lot of places. If he sees like there's a drawing competition somewhere, he'll just bring me there, and I'll just enter a competition, and somehow I'll win something. And somehow with that, right, I boost my confidence when it comes to art. So that's where I really found my passion when it comes to art lah. And I love table tennis. So I grew up playing table tennis, playing chess, and watching cartoon is my all-time favorite lah. So my favorite cartoon I remember was He-Man, Thundercats. So those are my two favorite cartoons. I actually started editing at the age of 7. My late dad is he was a quantity surveyor with JKR. So remember when I was young, right, he already had like 9 or 10 video cameras. So with that, right, I always play with video cameras from, I remember it was a Bolex camera, and I remember it was VHS, it was Betamax, and it go all the way up to digital now. So it was quite fun to see my dad, and of course, I get to play with him lah. So it was really a memorable moment to me, and he's really my inspiration when it comes to video editing. So I was exposed lah to video editing, and that's where I pick up the interest, and I got somehow quite good at that. So I'm quite happy, and I would like to thank my late dad for that. I am a graphic design graduate from MIA. I graduated 1997. I worked for about 5 years in a post-production company and a production company called Video Edit Production. And I was there for about 5 years before I quit, and I started Pixelpost in 2003. So that's how I started Pixelpost. It was quite a wonderful journey. So I am the owner, CEO, the founder of Pixelpost. So we started about 18 years ago, back in 2003. And we specialize in post-production, animation, and our clients are mainly advertising agencies, brand owner, like telco, movie distributors, and such lah. So those are actually our clients. Okay, so now to the meat, which is the video that I would like to share with everyone. I think everyone have seen the video from my Facebook page. A bit of a background about my video. So MCO actually has impacted a lot of people's life lah. So mine as well. So again, I'm quite honored to be in an organization called Entrepreneurs Organization, and somehow with that, right, we get to share ideas and motivate each other to be a better version of ourselves lah. So this organization actually helped me a lot in terms of how I think, how I organize myself, and how I move forward as a person. So we had a challenge to make a cocktail video. So rather than making a common how to make what do you call it, a recipe video, I decided to make it something a bit more memorable and something that that is a bit entertaining as well. I mean, this technique is not new. It's basically made famous by Zach King, but by having a slight different technique which I implemented, or I somehow spiced up using editing, it looked a little bit different. So I would like to share with you the video first, and before I go into the breakdown of the shots on how I actually did it lah. So what I'll do now is I will just share the video with you. All right, I'm gonna play it. Hey guys, today I'm gonna show you how to make a cocktail called MCU and stand. First, you need a glass. Next, you need some ice. Next, you need some tomatoes.
Like tomato, I like tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing
Tomatoes.
You like tomato,
And you like tomato?
tomato. Let's call the whole thing
3 tomatoes. Now let's put it into the glass.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Alright, time for some liquor.
Open up. And instead I poured the milk.
What a Chinese New Year, many oranges.
Why don't use orange juice?
Happy New Year, everybody. Cheers, everyone.
Nice. So, okay. So the guys at the back are actually my forum from Entrepreneurs Organization. So they actually shot the videos to me, and I kind of like put it together. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the background. So basically, MCO happened, Chinese New Year, nothing to do at home. We can't visit anyone, so basically I was at home, and me and my wife decided to shoot this together. And after that, it's Chinese New Year, and we have to have some fun now. So there are two people involved, which is me and my wife. We have one camera, a Nikon D850, and also two lights. So the props that you see in the video, right, we have to prepare a few days before the shoot lah. Like remember the tomatoes. I mean, of course, I have some of the drinks at home, and then the what do you call that? I think we have the tomato juice. We have other items. So all those we have to prep. And then towards the end, when you see the shots where my forum mates were drinking, so that one they actually shot and passed it to me. So it took about a week for the planning, script, purchase of props before we go to production. So for the shoot, it actually took me about 3 days. First day of Chinese New Year, second day, and third day. So those are the 3 days we actually prep for the shoot. And then the extra days is mainly just for pickups. The technique is quite straightforward, like it's nothing new. I think, Jack King made it famous. So I have to make it a bit different with a bit of I call it Ajinomoto, where I can make it a bit more interesting. And then most of the stuff that you see is actually like a freeze frame, and after that I have to touch it up in post lah. So the production is actually something that that I have to technically do it. If I have a team, usually for a big production, we have an art department to do like props and art department, and then we have wardrobe to do all the wardrobe prep, and we have makeup to do everything. So basically, I have to do everything together with my wife, which helped me a lot. So the production is pretty much quite fun because we don't actually basically we had fun with it lah. And then the next stage is post-production. So this is where the magic really happens. So later on, I will bring you through in terms of the breakdowns of how I did the shots lah. So the magic really happens in post-production. So there's a lot of cleanups, a lot of touch-ups, and it took me, I think, about 5 to 6 days lah for post-production. So basically, I did the editing, I did all the touch-ups and stuff like that. So it took about 5-6 days lah. One thing which I kind of like in the video, right, is actually I like the pace of video, which I edited it to a couple of songs which I think is relevant. So when you see me like playing with the tomatoes, right, I use the tomato songs, which I'm going to take you through later lah. So all right, cool. So the software that I actually used, right, for this project, mainly 3 softwares. So Final Cut Pro for editing, After Effects for all the touch-ups, and also Photoshop lah for all the design work. So these are the 3 main software which I use for this project. So now let's go to the making of, which is the behind the scenes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break it up to, I think, a couple of scenes, the shots from the video, and later on, I'm going to show you how I did it lah. So I'm going to play it, and I'm going to scrub through and explain in terms of how I did it. All right. So this is scene number 1. Now let's put it into class.
It was kung fu fighting.
So basically, as you can see, right, it's basically a lot of freeze frame. There's a lot of posing, and then my lovely wife here actually did the initiative to actually move the stuff. I can't do it alone because I can't move and move stuff. So basically, she helped me a lot in terms of making sure the magic happens lah. So she's the magic, and I'm just an actor. So like you can see, sorry. So from here I freeze, and then she comes in, put the eyes, and I drop it. Currently, it's not cutting very well, but when you actually play it right, it looks very smooth. And what I've done is the camera have to be static when you shoot it, but when you actually add a bit of the camera shake, right, it looks a bit more natural. You can actually see the camera shake a little bit, so it feels like a camera float. So editing is actually key here, and timing. Yeah, so that's the first scene. All right, I'm going to share with you the second scene, which is a tomato, pick up the tomato from the book scene. All right, so this is the scene.
Tomato, let's call the whole thing off.
Tomatoes.
You like tomato?
And you like tomato?
Tomato.
Tomato.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Again, the same technique, page flip, pose, point, pose, and pick it up. And then my lovely wife put the tomato in, and I grab it for 3 times. 3 times. And later on, I touch up the what do you call it, the magazine in Photoshop before I cut it lah. And again, you have to put it into the edit, add a bit of camera shake, and then it's quite smooth. And again, the song is quite relevant to this scene because tomatoes. So that's the reason why I actually choose this song to this. And the first one, actually, I use Ice Ice Baby and Kung Fu Fighting because it's relevant. So music actually plays an important role in terms of this video. Yeah. All right, the third scene, which is the pouring the vodka into the glass scene. I'm going to share with you again the shot and later on the making of, right, the behind the scene.
And instead I pour the milk.
Okay, so as you can see, pouring and then freeze and then change bottle. Pouring, freeze, change bottle. Okay, and then after that, pour. So this is the technique, but I'm actually not, personally, I'm not too happy with the pose because I felt that my position, right, is not static enough. So when you play, right, you can actually see a bit of shift here lah. But I kind of like take it as I'm also learning because I think we don't have to do it a bit perfect might requires a bit more time. So I thought it's just a fun project, but this shot can be actually slightly better when it comes to execution. Yeah, but you get the gist of it lah. All right. So this shot, and I'm going to show you the next shot, which is the pouring shot. I think to me, right, this shot is considered the third hardest shot because there's a lot of continuity lah. Later, I'm going to show you the hardest one, but it's to me the third hardest shot. But there's a continuous action which I have to make sure that I don't run away too much from the original position. Okay, I'm gonna play it, and then you get what I mean.
And the oranges.
So for this shot, there's a couple of actions, as you can see. So number one, my wife actually have to actually read the deco so that it drops at the right time when I look at it. From there, I will put the the milk carton on top. Reverse a little bit. A bit of acting is needed here to show a bit of surprise. And after that, this shot, I think it took me, I think, if not mistaken, I think it took me about 5-6 takes for this lah, because of the position is not right. And after that, she will take off my clothes and then change it, put my other clothes in, and voila. And from there, I have to shoot clean plates so that I can actually touch it up in post. The last one will be taking out the whole deco. So basically, this is the some of the tricks that I have to execute for this shot. So this is considered the third hardest shot. Another angle, which is the deco, pull it down. Oranges, mandarin oranges, pull it down. The original shot actually has, I think, 5 or 6 oranges. When I pull down, 3 actually drop on screen, and the other 2 I have to shoot plates so that I can add it in, so it looks a bit more interesting rather than we have just 3 oranges. So this is the behind the scene for this shot. All right, I think move on to the next shot, which I personally feel is the toughest one. Because of the continuous action and acting, right? I'm not really an actor, but I have to look natural so that the video will look nice. So because of the continuous action, we have to act in one take, changing the glass, pour the milk, pour the pineapple. So the continuous take is not so easy for me lah. So this one I think took probably 6 takes for me, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you behind the scenes. Right, so this is the toughest shot for me because it's a continuous of a couple of actions. All right, so as you can see, I start off by grabbing the orange. You have to be a good continuity from the previous shot. Grab, act a little bit, curious, and from there, I somehow have to do a plate first, one shot, so that I can transit from here to the big glass. As you can see, right, the drink is, because I shot it different days and I don't have an art department to help me. So the drink is actually a bit reddish. I actually use, what did I use? I think I used FNN strawberry or something like that. So I actually use that, and I have to mix it lah. But I couldn't get the mixture, which is the tomato juice, which is slightly brownish. So I have to do it in post-production for the color. So from there, June, put the glass in, grab, throw, press. I can't actually press the orange. June have to remove it and act. Look at the second one, grab, again, take it out. A bit of acting here, like you are struggling pressing it. The third one will be grabbing the pineapple from there. And then as you can see from here, right, there's a plate where I actually shake. Yep. So from here, I have to join it so that it shakes, but you don't see the shake here. So there's a bit of rotoscoping needs to be done here lah. So I think in order to do this properly, I would prefer maybe a green mat and add that in so that I don't have to roto so much for this shot. Grab the pineapple, push it forward, a bit of acting, and then this cap. I have to actually cut this prior to this shot so that it'll be easier for me to just lift it off. If not, I'll be struggling. Yep. So from here, grab, acting as well, put it in. So what I did here, right, is I grab it in. I have actually another cap, which is behind here, which I already screwed in. So that later on I can just rotate it and you can see it in front of the glass. But as you can see, when I push the cap here, I actually threw it away. So you can see that I actually threw it off screen, and then later on I have to touch it up in post-production. So basically this is a technique that I have to do using this shot. From here, acting and pour. The pouring, as you can see, is empty, but I have to add it in post-production, where I have to shoot a plate and later on just add it in. Plate shot for the pineapple and plate shot for the pouring of the drink. And from there, the other angle of the pouring, acting as well, put the pineapple there. And from here, you slide the background and then you transit to this shot. Yeah. So editing and key is editing is key for this shot. Grab the glass away, and after that the shaker. All right, so this is to me the toughest shot because of the continuous one movement, but it's memorable. Okay. Okay, the next shot I'm going to show you, right, is the shot that I was performing a la like what do you call that? I'm a bartender. I mean, I can't perform. I mean, the stunts that you can see that you see in the video. So basically, what I did was I actually have to check out a lot of YouTube videos in terms of how real bartender does their work lah. So actually see how they twist, how they shake, how they turn, how they throw the shaker, and from there I have to mimic, and I have to use a lot of editing in this shot, so that it feels like I'm a pro, but I'm not really a pro. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna play this shot, and I'm gonna show you a bit of some of the bloopers that I have lah, and how I actually did the shaker. Yeah. So basically, that's behind the scene in terms of how I actually did the shaker shot. A few things to highlight. Some of the drinks that I poured, right, is actually not the real alcohol. So I actually mix it up with Coke, because it's cheaper to mix with Coke rather than use like alcohol. And number two is in terms of the shot that you see here, I actually have to tie it so that I can actually perform the trick. And then my wife actually helped to rig it and to just push it around. This is not really an easy shot, but there's a lot of rehearsal before I actually shoot the real thing. and stuff like all this, right? It's numerous shot that I actually have to take, or take one, take two, take three, take four, take five, and putting it together, so it looks like I'm a bartender. I'm a pro at it, but in actual fact, I'm only doing editing. Yep. And the final shot.
All right, we're done.
So just orange juice.
Happy New Year, everybody. Cheers, everyone.
Okay, for this, I don't have behind the scene, but there's a lot of coordination needs to be done for this. Like, initially, I had a big plan of asking my friends, my forum mates here, right, to actually try to grab in an angle where I can place my drink here and they can grab from here. But it didn't turn out well because it requires, I think, more time to do this. And to coordinate it offline, virtually, is not so easy. So basically, again, I actually use the editing method to achieve this. And I have to coordinate with them in terms of CK is on the right, on my right. And basically, I have to slide, I have to pass the drink from my left. So there's a lot of coordination in terms of the person on the top, the person at the bottom, bottom left, bottom right, for them to make sure that they actually place it at the right direction so that it feels that I'm actually passing my drinks to them. Some of the shots are actually flipped because they actually did it in the wrong direction. So post-production can actually help in terms of making sure that we can somehow fix something in post lah. Oh, right. And so basically, this is considered the toughest part when it comes to coordination, because I have there are eight person to be coordinated. So I have to tell Terry, please take the glass from the bottom right so that I can actually pass to you from my top left. So a lot of timing and coordination, which I had fun, but sometimes quite don't say frustrating, but quite tough, and sometimes a bit frustrating actually when it's not you're not getting what you want. So, but I take it as a fun project, so it's okay. So basically, that's it for the behind the scenes of my video, right? I think before I end the making of session, right, I would like to share a little bit about how I think when I do my work now. So basically, right, I think MAD is quite a good acronym. So when it comes to a good video, right, basically, if you think MAD, you can actually think a marvelous idea and script. All right, have an awesome planning in production so that the production will go smooth and as planned. And D is detail in post-production. So if you practice this, I feel that you can actually make a difference. So that's my sharing in terms of this video. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kenny, for taking us on that journey about the behind the scenes of your amazing project. And I think mad is the right word. It's mad awesome. There was a lot of fans in chat as well who were saying how great your video is and how interesting it is at the end and how it all came together. And I think that's something that you guide us on. And again, like I said, like we've been posting, if you have any questions for Kenny, please do ask in chat. We do have a few questions that we would like to ask you, Kenny, if you don't mind. The first question is actually, what would you suggest for aspiring VFX artists to work upon now with MCO and restrictions due to the pandemic?
I think in terms of content creators, I feel just be yourself and be bold and keep shooting. Keep practicing if you're new, and don't be afraid to actually make mistakes. Like mistake happens and then you learn. Mistake happens and then you learn. and that's where you become better. And then due to the current situation, I feel I don't actually create content for myself. So basically, this is the time when I created content for myself and I kind of had fun with it. Usually, I create content for clients. So that's when I became bold and just do something for myself lah. So I think to me is be bold, keep practicing if you're new, and just go all out.
Oh, that's interesting. So there's a question here from Hamid H, who asks actually, what are the key strengths that are needed in the industry for a fresh graduate?
Good question, Hamid. Nice to see you. Hamid was an intern at my place before. A couple of things that we actually looked out for when it comes to getting fresh grads into the company. I think number one, right, is of course, their work shows. So when we interview them, we will actually see their work. Basically, details of let's say if I look for an editor, right, I will definitely look for how they edit in terms of their detail, in terms of continuity, when it comes to the pacing, again, the right music for the right video lah. So I think portfolio is one thing. Make sure your portfolio is tip top. Number one, communication is also key when it comes to joining the industry lah. So communication, basically, if you can sell your work, 70% of your work is done, and 30% is basically your work itself lah. So to me, I think communication and good work is actually the key string that's needed for a fresh grad. And I think apart from that, commitment in terms of you come in. To me, I think working in the post-production industry is not easy. Sometimes you work 24 hours, 48 hours to get a project out. But it's not as bad as last time, because computer is much faster now. So commitment and also passion is very important. If you don't have passion, right, I feel you cannot last in this industry. So for me personally, I have passion in editing. I've learned editing since I was 7 through my late dad. And then the passion actually holds me until today lah. And if I don't have passion, right, we have up and downs. So currently it's the pandemic. So business is okay, not great as what it used to be. But passion is actually holding me and make sure that I will succeed lah in terms of what I like to do. So passion is key.
Okay, thank you very much. I do agree. Passion is very important in anything that you do, actually. So very, very insightful. We have another question here from Mr. Jerry Chong. And Mr. Jerry Chong asks, what was the ratio of effort/time that you spent during production versus post-production for this video?
I think production, it took me about 3 days, about 4 days like that. And then after that, post-production is about 5-6 days lah. So that's the ratio. And in terms of effort, again, I think post-production is key in terms of the editing and the timing and also the music. So to me, I felt that I spent a lot of time in post-production because I'm quite a perfectionist. I'm quite OCD when it comes to if the title is not centered, if the spacing is not right and things like that. So I'm quite OCD. So I spend a lot of time because because my background is post-production. So I actually spend a lot of time in post-production. So the ratio is I'll spend more time in post-production in terms of crafting, in terms of making it look good. Yeah. Thank you, Jerry, for the question.
Was it difficult finding the right audio tracks for your project?
A lot of thinking that I have to do lah. Because when I actually edited the whole thing, the audio track wasn't in mind yet. So when everything is completed, I actually start to think, okay, probably this audio will suit this music because of the relevancy. Ice Baby, ice. Tomatoes, tomato. And Kung Fu Fighting, wacha, and things like that lah. So from there, I edit, I put in the music, and I have to fine tune a little bit more because of the how the music ends or how the music starts lah. So a bit of back and forth to make it a bit more perfect lah. So yeah.
Nice. I think the music really worked because it gives the each scene has its own characteristic and its own identity because of the music that you selected. So I like that a lot.
And again, the music is actually because it's a personal project. It's not copyright. Yeah, I mean it's copyright and stuff like that. But yeah, the right music will actually make a difference.
Okay, great. We have another question here. Okay, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Ned Kur, I guess. How do you manage between your work life and social life, and how do I apply it to my current life as a design student?
Good question. I think currently I have quite an okay life balance because I'm managing people now. I mean, I don't do the work a lot except for this project. So I'm managing people. I think when I first started, right, I personally feel that I want to succeed in this career lah. So I actually had no social life at all when I first started for the first 10 years of my life. So no social life. Friends ask me to go for the holiday, I will reject because I have work to be done and things like that. So there's no social life for me. But kind of think of it, right? I think I kind of miss what I have to experience when I was much younger. So if I have the opportunity to turn back the time, right, I would like to have a bit of a mix where I dedicate my time to work and I dedicate my time to friends, and from there probably I get to see bigger things lah. But not to say what I did was wrong, but what I think maybe because of my commitment, right, and the time spent, I actually had the drive to actually build the company lah. But to me, right, like currently the people that we have here, right, they are kind of like they have okay social life lah, and we try to meet clients' expectation and also try to meet our artists' expectation. So when they work too late, we try to manage them to see whether are they okay or not lah. So in terms of managing social life is something that I feel you have to see what is important to you. If you feel that career is important, maybe you balance it lah. It's not right or wrong. It's your choice. So you have to make that own choice whether career or career or social life lah. So to me, I think is your preference. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it's all about getting the balance, I suppose. Yeah. So there's a question here from Patricia, and the question is actually, how did you start your own company?
How did I start my own company? Okay, I don't have to answer that because you just have to go to SSM, registered one, and but maybe
the insights into what made you want to start your own company, perhaps.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's also by luck or by chance lah, because after working for a company called Video Edit Production for about 5 years, I was there for about 5 years, and I had a friend who actually asked me to come out and set something up, do something together. And when that happened, we were together for about a year. I was like somehow freelancing and joint venture with this company lah for about a year. So from there, what happened was we made quite okay money. We built the company for about a year, and later on there's some internal issues which is a bit PNC, but it's more towards like financial issue lah. And what happened was the company somehow closed down, and I somehow don't have the choice but to either go back to employment or to start my own. So I kind of chose the road to start my own because I felt that it's something that I'm quite scared of doing because you don't have what they call it, stable income. Because when I was working for someone, even though as partnership, I get a steady income. But when you start your own, right, you are on your own. But I was bold and I was trying, it's do or die now. And I just have to just do it lah, because it's a once in a lifetime chance. If I'm too old, right, probably I will probably have, probably I won't have the gut lah, or the courage to do it when I'm old, when I have kids and stuff like that. So I actually go all out lah when I was young and say, if I fail, never mind, we try again. But that's how I started my own company lah. It's not easy for the first, again, like I mentioned, for the first 10 years, I basically was sleeping in company for almost every day lah. And the weekend only I go back to see my parents, and then back to the office, sleep there for about 5 days, and then weekend go back to the company. So sometimes I don't go back also, back home. So a lot of long hours lah when I first started. But it was something that I feel that I like lah. Yep.
Yeah, clearly a lot of hard work and dedication went into it. So we'll be taking 2 more questions from the audience. We have a question here from Angel D. And Angel D asks, what was the most longest or difficult project you have worked on, and how did you manage to finish it?
Okay, there's quite a lot of projects which is quite long. I would say maybe movies are actually the longest one, because 80% of our work are commercials, videos, documentary and stuff like that. So movies are actually the longest. We take a couple of months to finish. We did a couple of movies, which is called Dukun and Bunuhan. And I feel Dukun was it's one of the longest. I think it took about 4 months, 4-5 months to complete. And why I say it's difficult, because we were a bit short-handed the last time when I first started. So not enough hands, and a lot of shots that actually I have to touch it up, a lot of comping, and also computers were not as fast back then. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2006, 2007. So during that time, rendering is slightly slower, and so my team actually helped in terms of certain scenes, but because of I wouldn't say the technology lah, because computer now are so fast compared to those days, right? And then that actually slowed down our process slightly. But nevertheless, I think we managed to finish it in about 4-5 months time, and quite proud of it lah. And then it got canned, and then it got released, I think, about 2 years ago. So that's actually one of the longest and difficult projects that, not difficult, but one of the longest that I've worked on. But I'm proud of it lah, because I think it is our first movie. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you very much. Yep. Thank you, Angel D, for the question as well. So I think I do have one last question before we wrap up this session. How do you see the prospects of VFX and post-production future here in Malaysia?
Good question. I think Malaysia, right, is one of the hub for outsource lah, for companies like Blizzard, Hollywood movies and things like that. Also, government plays an important role here. They help animation companies, post-production company, to connect to the world. And I think Hollywood movies like Life of Pi, Mandalorian, scenes for Transformer, some are actually done in Malaysia. I think in Pixelpost, personally, we produce movie trailers for companies, for Sony Picture, Disney, and Marvel. So in terms of the prospect, right, definitely there's prospect, because I think Malaysia is one of the, it's a hub. It's not really, it's considered like one of the hub for international company to outsource work to us lah. And then we have some content like big brands like, I think Upin and Ipin, you know, I mean, Boy, they're very, very successful lah. So in terms of the prospect, yes, I feel Malaysia can be, we given the opportunity, and then government is helping. I think we can be one of the leaders in the world. Thank you.
Okay, and I think one of the questions on every student's mind right now is, are you guys currently looking for interns? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for interns. We are kind of like quite picky in terms of interns, because we have to go through a set of core values that we have to try to talk to the intern in terms of, we have core values. And because what we like an intern to do, they come in, right? They have to somehow have the passion when they actually do work, for when they actually execute work. Uh, I think 60-70% of the interns that we hired, they work with us, which we are because we think that they have the core values that can actually that can gel with us lah. So yes, we are looking for intern. If you are keen, do apply to us at I think we have our website, our email, and our website, and just work lah. Basically, a portfolio actually tells. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kenny, for today's session. I think it was very insightful. And those of you, don't forget to fill up the feedback form to get your e-certificate. You can actually look at the URL that's on screen right now. This is to claim your e-participation certificate. All you actually need to do is fill up a feedback form and send it in, and you'll get a certificate for attending today's session. So thank you very much, Mr. Kenny, for sharing the journey through your entire project, giving us the insights into how it's done. I think a lot of promising work could maybe catalyze from what you've shown us today. A lot of students might even be able to come up with their own ideas and work on their own personal projects directly from their home because of what you've shared today.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
one more thing, stay tuned because right after this, we'll also be showing you the inaugural SOMAD video newsletter. So feel free to stay tuned for that. So with that, I would like to end today's Unboxed webinar. Thank you for joining us. And, stay tuned for more in the future as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Kenny.
All right, thank you. Have a good week ahead, guys. Ciao.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
holiday tomorrow.
All right.